In our previous video, we created a new sheet with a title block that's running vertically along the edge on the right side here, and the and so we need to rename this. We're going to rename it. Let's rename this A08. A08. Okay. And then the other thing we need to do is change this to A08 here too. So we're going to go back into Manage, right? And our project information. And here's where we can change the author's name. You probably need to change the author's name and the client's name, and then the section and class. All I need to change though is the project name, which is A08 here, and update this view. So the first thing we're going to do is add a floor plan here, and to do that, I'm going to use another version of our level 1 floor plan. Okay, so I'm going to take this first floor plan and open it. Okay, and what I'm going to do is duplicate this. So I'm going to go into duplicate, view with detailing, and that'll save these dimensions and stuff, that even though I probably will want to get rid of them anyway. And so I'm going to get, and so now I have another view, and then let's rename this, and we're going to rename it 5, and we're going to call this community room plan. Community room, we'll just use RM plan A08. We'll A08. Okay, since this is, and so now we have this view. The first thing I'm going to do is turn on the crop. Okay, so I can see the cropped edges here, and I'm going to pull these up, and I'm going to crop it, okay, all the way down to, so all I can see is some of the spaces around, okay, for instance, like the restrooms in there. Maybe come down here, grab these titles right here, okay. Something like this, so that we're focusing in on the community room here. The other thing is that I don't have a room name for this yet, so I need to add a room name in, and so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go into architecture, and you'll see right here, here is a room. I'm going to click on the room and identify this as a room. Wherever we tag that, that's where the tag is going to go. And you'll see it automatically named it C103. I'm going to call this community room. Community room. Am I spelling that correct? I hope so. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do, no, it's not. It doesn't have two T's, does it? Anyway, you spell it right. And then here, it picked up on the last label that I put in, which was corridor C102. And this isn't a corridor, so it's not going to have a C on it. It's just going to have a room number. So let's zoom in here. And based on my naming convention, this is 105. This should be 106. This is 107. So the numbering convention, I'm going back and forth. It says elements have duplicate number values. Don't worry about that at this point. It's because in that previous file, I did have the community room name in there, and I'm going to move this around a little bit more. Use the arrow keys to kind of nudge it a little bit. Okay. And so the next thing I'm going to do is change the scale of this. Okay. So I'm going to, well, I'm going to play with a few of this. I'm going to nudge these up, okay, because I want to get rid of in this view. And because I'm moving this around in this view, and the view is specific to this view, then I don't have to worry about it changing my other views. Okay, corridor here, I don't want that to show, so I'm just going to hide it by element. Okay, and then that looks pretty good. Okay, so we have kind of the rooms that are around this room, and the connection we have to the men's and women's restroom and stuff like that that are included there. I don't need these dimensions nor want them, so I'm just going to, once again, if I want to keep them in the other views, then I could hide them. Okay, if I don't want to keep them at all in any of the other views, then I could delete them. I'm just going to hide them so that they won't be deleted out of the other views, because maybe I do want them in the other views. So now I have this, floor plan. I'm going to change its scale now to 1/4 inch, okay? Because I want a blow up version of this. And of course, it changed the scale visually of the text because I now have a bigger plan. So, a 3/16 inch or a 3/32 inch scale or a 1/16 inch scale varies in height now, right? So it's going to get smaller because the plan got bigger proportionally. Everything looks pretty good at this point, and I'll make changes as I put this in. The other, this right here, maybe, I might want to pull this up just a hair. I don't know if I want to keep that or not. Okay, keep that symbol in there to show that wall section. Probably not, because it puts the focus on the wrong thing. So I'm going to hide this in view. Okay. Whoops. Hide in view by element. Okay, get that out of view. And it's a 1/4 inch. And now I'm just going to pull it into my sheet. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my sheet 105. And there's that community room floor plan. I'm going to just pull it in here and drop it. Boom. Okay, and so now when it prints out, it'll print out at 1/4 inch. There's a couple of other things. For instance, I'm going to add now the elevations that I created around this interior. So what I want to do is turn on that elevation symbol so that I get the elevation symbol in there. So I can either go back to this floor plan. So I'll just go back to this floor plan real quick and turn on hidden so I can see it. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here and select. I can just select one of those views and say unhide in view by category, and that should unhide that, which is great. Okay. And it may not be exactly in the place I want it, but I'll move it here just in a few minutes. So let's go back to my sheet, see how it looks now on my sheet. Okay, that looks good. It's not so big, and so that's good. And then I'm going to pull now in my other views. Okay, so we've got 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. I'm just going to go ahead and pull those in. Okay, they're at the wrong scale. I want them to be at 1/4 inch scale too, so I'm going to hit escape out of that. Not that I couldn't change the scale after I pulled it in, but I think it'll be better if I scale it after I pull it in. So I'm going to go into 1A, and I'm going to change its scale to 1/4 inch. Okay, and you'll notice these got smaller. Okay, and so what I want to do is pull them in closer now. So they're about the same distance out. So I'm going to kind of use this as a marker. Okay, so I have that much distance between top and footing. Okay, I could just measure that if I wanted to and say, okay, I wanted about 6'9" or something like that out. Okay, and so I'm going to go into 1B. Once again, it's got shading on, so I'm going to turn shading off. I'm going to put this in fine and turn realistic view off. Okay, and so my cabinets, they look good there. Okay, once again, I'm going to change this to 1/4 inch. Come on, where are you? Right there. And pull then this in right there to somewhere right in there. Let's see how that does. That's pretty close to where I had it a little bit closer in the previous view. Okay. Once again, if I wanted to shorten these, I could shorten these a little bit, visually. That might be good. But that view looks pretty good. And then I'm going to do the same thing for 1C and 1D. I'm just going to go offline. There's no reason for you to watch. So I finished editing those elevations, and I'm just going to pull them over now, okay, and drop them in here, and I'll adjust where I want them here in a few minutes. So let's drop this one. We'll just line them up on this side. Okay. And I can get 3 running down this direction, and I'm going to have to move the 4th one over here. Okay. And so then I'm going to play with these and line them up. I would probably put in a line. Okay. They don't snap the view. They snap to the boundary, but they don't snap to the actual point, elements in the view. So to line these things up, usually what I need to do is come in and annotate, and I put a detail line in here. And detail line, I can snap it, right? So what I'd like for it to happen is that these two views are opposite each other, here and here, okay? So what I want to do is move this over and get that particular view lined up on the same, if not exactly the same, close to the same line, okay? Let's zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Just so they'll that looks good. Okay, that's close enough. And then once again, this is on the same line. I'd kind of like those to line up pretty close to each other. Are the labels, this one's too, close. I'm going to select it and move it up, okay, so that it's tied to this one. That looks pretty good there and there. This one, I would like for the floor to line up, the floor level. So I'm going to just snap, once again, a detail line in here, and that's architecture detail, okay? I'm sorry, not annotate, detail line. And so now I've got that line in there, and actually they're pretty much on the same level. So I'm just going to move this one over, okay? Now, if I wanted to, what I could do is use the level line, okay? Since these are the same on the same line, I could crop these off or turn these off in this particular view, or crop them out. But I'll just go ahead and leave them in. Okay, but I can move them definitely a little bit closer. And then, this view needs to kind of line up there. And I'm going to have to click in this view so that I can shorten this line. Okay, because I don't want it to be. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add in is my rendered image, okay? And this detail line, I don't need it anymore, so I'm just going to delete it out. The same thing with this one, so I don't forget. Okay, and then I might move them around compositionally a little bit more, line some things up, just to make it look a little bit better. But I'm going to pull that image that I rendered, and to do that, I'm going to go into, I'm sorry, I didn't need to close that. I'm going to go into my view completed renderings. and it's loading them now. And here's my rendering that's completed earlier. And all I need to do is go into that, view that project, view that rendering here, select that rendering, and then I can download it, to a JPEG, a PNG, a TIFF. I'm kind of a big fan of PNGs, so I download most of my images as PNGs if possible, or work with them as PNGs. It has more robustness to them. But anyway, so you just download it, put it where you can remember where it is, and then we're ready to add it. And so we're going to now add it in here. So we're going to go view and, no, I'm sorry, manage or view or manage. View, no, it is insert. And I want to insert an image. And I've already downloaded that view right here. And so there it is. Okay, you might want to shorten the name of it, but I'm just going to open that view. And because of its resolution, it's a lot larger than I have space for it. So all I'm going to do is insert it in here and downsize it some. Okay, keep as much of the image as I can, but so that it'll work compositionally. Probably want to move that up some. That may be too far. I may want to once again activate this view, come in here, and I'm going to pull this kind of up to here so that I can now deactivate the view, and now I can move that up a little bit more. Yeah, oops, too far. Okay, and then I probably would want to come in here and put a text text in here, label this what it is. So I'm going to come in here and go text, and text 330 seconds. That'll work. And I'm going to just type in here perspective view. Let's zoom in so I can read it. Perspective of community room. And so I'll just click out of that and then move this up here, move it over, move it up some. So it finally fits in there. That might be a little small. Let's see, what about anything bigger? 1/8 inch Arial. Yeah, we'll do 1/8 inch text, which is a little bit better. And so now I've got my composition. Those are the views I want you to put together into the view. Feel free to rearrange them. You'll notice now that I've installed these. Okay, they're now page sheet 105 is shown here. Okay, and you'll see then 1, 2, 3, 1C, 1B, and of course those names then are located over here. Okay, so you can see view 2 is 1A, is labeled 1A. This is view 2 then, labeled 1A, named 1A. And anyway, so it's finished. Print it out and turn it in to me in front of my office or to your GA before Tuesday, end of day Tuesday, the last day of class.